And even if he wrote the rhymes, if the royalty checks are coming in her name under her publishing, it's her money. You know what I'm saying? That's how she's gonna see it. So I'm not surprised that this is the angle that Remy Ma's taking on now, about the fact that I'm the one who spends all the money or earns all the money, and the money that's spent is my money. You know what I'm saying? And you don't really make any money. This is the angle that she's coming on with now, as far as his value as a husband. She's not saying he beat on her. She's not claiming that he cheated on her. The only thing that she's saying thus far is that, and it's something that he admitted, that he had a gambling problem. He had some gambling issues. But it doesn't appear that he gambled away all their money or gambled in a way that destroyed their life. And I guess this gambling issue happened in the last couple of years.
Very bipolar, very delusional. This is a person who will sit in front of you. She will post that live, and she'll say later, I didn't do that. I wasn't on live. You'll be sitting there like, huh? She will say something to you, and 10 minutes later say, I never said that. Very bipolar. And I don't want to talk bad about her, man. That's something that I never wanted to do. That's why when this took place, when she first got caught cheating with the lame, I brought it to her attention. I said, first of all, I couldn't even believe that she was stooped that low, because he's such a cornball. Y'all see it, y'all say it yourself. I'm like, yo, it's no way it's this nigga. Because I'm trying to figure it out. Like, damn, who is this nigga? Because, you know, we were living a normal, peaceful life, raising our child like we planned to, and she started to move real strange. So in the process of her moving strange, it became stranger and stranger, worse and worse. So I said, damn, I gotta see what's going on. What the hell is going on? I started to do my research. As I did my research, I found out she was cheating with the lame. So once I find out, I brings it to her attention. I said, mind you, I didn't knock him out because he slept with my wife. Like I told y'all before, the reason I knocked him out was because he shook my hand and then slept with my wife.
Anyway, they had an event. The Easy to Block captain is a battle rapper. Remy Ma started a rap battle league, and this is one of the rappers that is in that league. And she ended up, you know, having an affair with him. Remy Ma's in her 40s. This guy's a little younger. I believe this guy is in his late 20s, I want to say, or early 30s. So he's a little younger than her. But anyway, she ended up getting with him, and Pap found out about it and decided, you know, at some point he was going to confront the dude. He was quiet about it for a while, but eventually he went to one of the events and allegedly knocked the guy out, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. For me personally, I'm not saying what I wouldn't do, because you never know when you in the heat of your emotion, but I'm not going to really do that. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause for me, it ain't the guy. The guy don't really have anything to do with it. But you know, Easy to Block captain, in Pap's defense, was going around and was running his mouth about sleeping with Remy Ma and all this. But my whole take on it is that at the end of the day, if you're with a woman, whether she's your girlfriend, wife, whatever, if she's with somebody else, I'm not really going to confront the dude, because the dude is not, unless it's your friend, I can see that, you know, somebody you know. But this guy's not your friend. At the end of the day, if he's laying up with your wife is deciding to be with him, and Remy Ma decided to be with him. The question is, the way she did it, why didn't she just get the divorce? If she wanted to leave the relationship, it would have been better to do the divorce, what they're doing right now. Have the divorce, leave the relationship. The problem is, a lot of people try to start the new relationship while they marry. You know, Papoose, he's still married technically, and he met Clarissa Shields and got in a relationship with her. But the point is that this is what makes it messy, when you try to do all this while you still married. And this is why all of this is so damn messy right now.
So I bring it to her attention that I found out that she's sleeping with the lame. She tells me, him? Why him? Why him out of all people? Not Goods? Not Hitman? My word is my bond is my life. I should give my life before my word shall fail. This was her exact words. Him? Why would I deal with him? I said, Rem, I know you're dealing with the lame. I know it. First and foremost, how it first fell on my radar that she was cheating with the nigga, he was running his mouth and it came back to me. They said, yo, Pat, this nigga out here telling niggas he fucking your wife. I said, word. So I did a little bit more research, connect a couple more dots, I finds out. She tells me this. Okay, I finds out. Mind you, it's not the first time she cheated. You know what I mean? I continued the marriage because I live by my wedding vows. I try to live by my wedding vows. Richer for poor, sicker for health, sickness and health, you know what I'm saying? Better for worse, is death to us part. So you try to work through things. Anybody out there who's married, y'all understand. So I found out she cheating with the lame. I bring it to her attention. Of course, we have an altercation, like basically argument back and forth or whatever transpired, right? Okay. She decides, and I decide that we're going to go to therapy, but she brings it to my attention, to be honest. She said, I think we should do therapy. I said, okay. Even though I'm private and I don't like to speak to people about my personal business, that was a very, very difficult thing for me to do. But I said, you know what? Let's do the therapy. We go to the therapist. We go to the therapist. The therapist's first question is, do you guys want a divorce or do y'all want to work it out? Me and her both said we want to work it out. So when she comes on live and say, we haven't slept in the bed since 2022, and to make it seem like and fabricate a story, like we had some agreement, you such a liar. There was no agreement. When I found...
Now that I believe, I totally believe that, because again, Remy, from what I've seen, she's not admitting to them going to therapy. And I don't think Papoose is making up the story about them going to therapy. I think that he tried to stay with her because they have a young child together. And I know as a man, if you really about that life as far as being a father, that's going to be the biggest thing. Even if you want to leave the woman, that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to hold you, because you know what, you like, you know, I really want to make sure that not only that I'm under the same roof as my daughter, but when you have the idea of raising your children with the man and the woman, if you're really about that, that would make you stay. And it make women stay too. Don't get me wrong. It goes both ways. But speaking as a man, I understand what he's saying. So I don't believe that, you know, they never went to therapy, because Remy Ma's not saying that. Remy Ma's kind of saying like, yo, you know, he found out about the affair and we had an agreement that you do you, I'ma do me, and we just gonna live together. That sounds crazy to me, but.
And then you wanted to go to therapy. So check it out now. Check it out. So when we go to therapy, the therapist says, do y'all want to get a divorce or do y'all want to work it out? Me and her both said we want to work it out. I'm going to be honest, because honestly, I didn't want to not live under the same roof as my 5-year-old. I love all my kids the same, but when you have children, and everyone knows that about me. Everybody who know me, y'all know my character. Y'all know her character. Very rude, very disrespectful, not just to me, to everyone. But that speaks volumes. I didn't want to we planned to raise her with both parents. That was the plan. So I did not want to not live under the same roof with my little girl. I was there from the moment she came out of the womb, and I intended, and I always told her, I want to be there to the moment we take her to her prom. So when she graduates high school, college, get her degrees, I want to be there to take my daughter to her prom. And I told her that. So I never wanted to leave from under the roof of my baby. That's why I stayed around for this nonsense. And I don't want to go away from the point. Okay, so we did the therapy. The therapist gave us that option. We both said we want to work it out. She said, this is the plan. I'm going to give y'all a plan to work it out. She said, Pat, because like I told y'all previously, once I seen that she was cheating, like she was moving real strange, I'm talking about leaving for hours at a time. Every time I questioned it, it was a lie, just strange behavior. So once I noticed that she was moving strange, I started to do my research. So the therapist said, because she told the therapist, mind you, she got all these lies to y'all about me. The only thing she told the therapist was, oh, he doesn't trust me. He's going to keep looking behind me and trying to, find out what I'm doing.
Why don't people get divorced first and then take some time, and then find someone new. The reason why people don't do that most of the time, in my opinion, is because people haven't fully let go of who they with, right? That's one thing. There's a security blanket people hold on to, and they want to put their toe out there and see, well, what's going on out in the streets while I'm still with this other person. You know what I'm saying? Because if at the end of the day, if you really don't want to be with Remy Ma, really didn't want to be with Papoose. And we, like I said, we all know this because she had the affair first, apparently. And apparently this guy was not the first affair. So the thing is that, why not file for divorce first? Probably because she didn't want to leave the relationship all the way. You know what I'm saying? So I believe Pap. I just think Pap is more believable. I don't know Remy Ma personally, but she's known from people I know who know her, and even just knowing her just as a fan. She has a hair trigger temper. She's got that Bronx attitude, you know what I'm saying? And that's just who she is, right? But if you ask me, I think honestly, I think she got bored. I think the way that she is and the way Pap is different. And again, I think Pap is somebody who don't really drink, don't really smoke, don't really do a lot of things. And again, is kind of a low profile kind of guy. And not that Remy Ma is out there hanging out all the time, but I just think they're very different in that way. And I think that the marriage maybe she was bored, maybe she just wanted more attention, you know what I'm saying? And that happens. That's just life. It is what it is. But again, like I said, a lot of times when a woman cheats, it's like, well, it's always like, well, what was the guy doing? And they try to make it seem like, well, the guy did something. And maybe the guy did nothing. Maybe Pap did nothing. Maybe it's the fact that she just wanted to get out here and do something new. You guys are putting it out there, and it's for the internet court to decide who's lying and who's telling the truth. The question is she saying Papoose was a bum? Papoose didn't do anything? He's laying on the couch with his feet kicked up and not doing anything? I don't think so. I don't think so, because like he said, and she has not refuted the fact that, you know, well, she is refuting the fact saying he didn't write anything. Now, I don't think anybody believes that. He wrote something. There's no doubt he helped on the rhymes. I definitely believe that.